usually when I appear for such nice, intelligent audience, I always like to say something, although I never have what to say. At my last appearance here, I asked Ed Sullivan about what subject I should talk. So he asked me to talk about some great personality, so naturally I spoke about myself. I'm known in this part of the country very well. Of course, I must admit, I'm not as famous as, let's say, as Sammy Davis Jr., although I was Jewish before him. All I can tell you, I have played for your fathers and for your mothers, and maybe for your grandfathers and grandmothers. My only ambition is to play for your children. I don't know how long I'm going to serve the public. All I want is another 25 years, that's all. And after 25 years, I'd like to go into a legitimate business. Now, do you remember the strike of the subways and the buses? How can you forget it? You know, the theater suffered mostly. People were afraid to come to the theater for fear they wouldn't be able to get back home. We couldn't get a cab, nowhere. I walked 10 miles to the theater. Not 10 miles, 10 miles. Not only me, my whole company, all the 20 actors, singers, and dancers, they all walked to the theater. We were all assembled, ready to go on. At 8:30, the manager came backstage and he said, I'll have to call off the performance. There is only one single man in the audience. I said, you're going to call off the performance? Why, this man risked his life to get to the theater. Who knows how many miles he walked? He is a real theater lover. And I spoke to my company, and I spoke to the musicians and to the music leader. I even spoke to the 22 stations we have. And I told them, let's go out, let's play a performance for this man like we never did before. And let me tell you, we played a performance really like we never did before. And after the performance, I went out in front of the curtain and I spoke to this man. And I told him, you are the real theater goer. You're a lover of the arts. If you would have many people like you, the theater would flourish, and so on and so on. Finally, the man stood up and he said, please make it snappy. I have to clean up. He was the janitor. I don't know, really. People say Friday is unlucky. I tell you, to me, every day is Friday. That happened on a Tuesday. I got a letter in the mail. I opened the envelope. There's no letter, just 2 tickets to the Metropolitan Opera House. And there's a little note which said, guess who sent you the tickets? I spoke to my wife, who could send us those 2 tickets? We couldn't find out. But when Saturday night came, we went to the opera and we enjoyed ourselves immensely. And on the way home, we racked our brains. Who could send us those 2 tickets? We couldn't find out. As I come over to my door, I see the door is partly open. I come inside, the whole house is upside down. My wife's jewelry is gone, her fur coat is gone, all my suits are gone. And at the table, there's a note. Now you know who sent you the ticket. I don't know how much Ed Sullivan will pay me for my appearance here tonight. I asked him. He said, don't worry, Menashe. I'll pay you according to your worth. So I told him, for so cheap, I can't appear. I don't care for the money, and believe me, I can make money in so many other ways. For instance, last night, 2 ladies came into my dressing room. And they said to me, Mr. Skolnick, we are from a children's home. And we want you to donate something for the children's home. You think I let them go away with nothing? I went out and I got 2 children someplace and I gave it to them. Because I can make money in so many other ways outside the theater. For instance, last week I had to have $1. I owed somebody $1 and I wanted to pay back the $1. And I only had 75 cents. And mind you, nobody wanted to lend me the quarter. They know me in New York very well. So you know what I did? I took my 75 cents, I went into a pawn shop, I put my 75 cents on the table, and I asked the pawnbroker, will you lend me a $50 for the 75 cents? He said, yes. So he took away my 75 cents, and he gave me a $50. So I had a $50, but of course, he gave me a 75-cent pawn ticket. So I took the 75-cent pawn ticket, I went into a little grocery man, and I asked him, do you want to buy a bargain? A 75-cent pawn ticket for a $50? He said, why not? Who wouldn't buy a bargain like that? So look, so the grocery man had a 75-cent pawn ticket for a $50. The pawnbroker had 75 cents cash, for which he only gave me a half a dollar. I had a dollar, everybody was satisfied, and I don't know who lost a quarter.